Hey fam, this is Ron Bell, pastor of the Arise Church. Welcome to video 1, lesson 1 of our new series, The Case for Humanity. I'm excited if you can't already tell. But listen, if you haven't read the scripture, pause this video right now and read the scripture. It's very important. Okay, by now you should have been able to read the scripture. So let's talk about this. One of the questions I get a lot as a pastor is, what's my purpose? What's my destiny? I'm not quite certain, what God has for me, those kinds of things. And so when we're talking about the case for humanity, we're going to be answering some of those questions. So I have a formula I want to share with you. And I hope this begins to kind of give you an answer in terms of how do you identify your purpose or how do you identify your destiny. Here's the formula. 1 times X equals Y. So let's break that down. Let's start with the 1. So you are the 1, right? And so when we think about us, one of the questions I often ask people who ask me about their purpose and destiny to begin with, or what's those things that you like doing? What things drive you or excite you? What things make you go crazy when it comes to humanity? What if you had $1 billion today? What's the first thing you'd invest in or try to conquer? What are the dreams you've been having? Things you say, man, if I could just get in there and do X, Y, and Z, I would do. What are those pieces? When people talk to you, what do they say drives them crazy because you won't stop doing, or you won't stop talking about, or you won't stop dreaming about? That's part of your 1. It's part of your identity. It's part of your makeup. Those things are part of your drive. It's part of who you are. And so now that we understand our 1, let's understand the X, because the X is critical. The X is what we find in Genesis 1 when God talks about why he created humanity. And so what God tells both Adam and Eve there at creation in Eden is that he's created us to be fruitful and to multiply. He created us to have dominion, right? And those aren't just abstract terms or abstract words. What that means is that God has created us to replicate what's being seen in heaven. So just as God is Lord and God over heaven, so we are created in the image of God to be Lord over the earth, to have dominion over the earth. To be created in the image of God is not just about form. So we aren't physically created in the image of God. God don't have 2 hands and 2 legs and long dreadlocks. But we are created in the image of God when it comes to our dominion, when it comes to our purpose, when it comes to our destiny, when it comes to our responsibility, when it comes to what God has placed inside of us. And so we are in the image of our Creator. And so we are created to be on the earth, to have dominion, to be fruitful, to multiply. And so when I take those things that I love doing, those things that are part of who I am, and I multiply it by this understanding of how God has formed me and how God has created me, then I begin to understand my destiny and my purpose. Here is the biggest piece, and you gotta get this piece. If you get this piece, it's gonna make sense. You cannot adequately and understand your destiny or your purpose outside of understanding and having a relationship with God. What do I mean? Because you were made in the image of God, then you can never fully live into your purpose or destiny without a relationship with God. And so the more I focus on my X, the more I focus on my relationship with God, my understanding of God's purpose, my understanding of dominion, my understanding of being fruitful and multiplying, my understanding of how God has created me, the more I focus on those things, the more I will see come to pass my destiny and my purpose. Because all of those are connected into the very fabric in which God created me. Isn't that astounding that you were both created in the image of God and created for purpose? And that those things that drive you crazy, those dreams that you've been having right now, those dreams and goals and things you've been thinking about, when multiplied by God's purpose and in relationship with God, you will begin to see your destiny come to pass. So let me say it very plainly, very clearly. and your life group leader will help walk you through some of this. But it's your stuff. It's who you are multiplied by a relationship and understanding of God that creates your destiny and your purpose. When your one times your X gets together, your Y is easy. Your Y is easy. So listen, here are 5 questions for you. Number 1, what is it that's driving you crazy? What are those dreams and goals and ideas and stuff that you've been thinking about over and over again? Number 2, when you think about the design that God has for you and what it means to have dominion and be fruitful and multiply, what does that mean to you? Number 3, when you begin to think right now about trying to put together your destiny and your goal and put together those dreams and stuff that you have alongside of how God has created you, does that sound possible? What do you think? How important is a relationship with God to fully understanding your destiny and purpose? That's number 4. And then lastly, number 5, are you ready today to begin to live fully in your purpose and your destiny through a relationship with God? Listen, likely your life group coach leader has some more questions for you. Check them out, and we'll see you next week. Peace.